Okay, so today we're looking at quadrilaterals. So does anyone know what does the word quad bit mean? Four. So good. So we're going to have four sides to our shape. So we've got a few rules that we're going to look at. So when you have a quadrilateral, so a four-sided shape, they're interior angles. So it means all the angles on the inside will add up to 360. So if you remember, yesterday we were doing triangles. How much did they add up to? 180. So four-sided are 360, okay? And now, if we have a parallelogram, which is a type of quadrilateral. It is a quadrilateral, and then it's a subtype. So a parallelogram means that you've got two sets of parallel lines. So you can see these two lines. They're running along side by side exactly the whole way through. That's their parallel. And then if you look here, these two are parallel as well. So if we have a parallelogram, the two opposite sides are parallel, and they're also equal length. So what we're saying is, if say this one was 5, this side will also be 5 if it's a parallelogram. And if you have, say this was 8, yeah, this would be 8 as well, the same. Now, opposite angles are equal. So when they say this, the opposite angles are equal. So that X is the same as that one. So on the diagonal, opposite, yeah? And then if we look at this Y here, it's the same as that one. So we can say that. So those little pieces of information might help us work out, sizes of angles. So a parallelogram also includes a square. So if you think about a square has all the same sides. Yeah, so it's a quadrilateral, 4 sides, and all of their angles would be 90 degrees. Now, if you have a rectangle, so we've got to remember a rectangle has the opposite sides are equal length, so it's a parallelogram, and its angles are all 90 degrees as well because it's all square. And then a rhombus, if you need to remember we did this a little bit in measurement. Remember the rhombus, sort of like a diamond shape. Yeah? So they're saying that they're equal and things like that. All right. So let's have a look. So we've got a few over here anyway. So they've drawn them all out. So we can see with the rhombus, the opposite angles will be the same side. And there we go, opposite and opposite. But with the rectangle, we're just going to see these little squares, and same with a square. And how much does that indicate? That would indicate 90, doesn't it? 90 degrees. So 4 times 90 is 360, which is what our quadrilateral. Okay, so we can get other types of quadrilaterals. So we've got a trapezium down here. So a trapezium is where you have just one set of parallel lines, and then you have the other lines just joining out like that. Okay, and then we can also get a kite. So the kite is where the top joining two are the same length, and then the bottom two are joining. And we can also see that these angles opposite the middle there are going to be equal. All right, so we're going to just need that to help us do problem solving. So let's have a look at here. So over here, they have asked me to find the unknown angle. So here is X. So if I look, I know that this one is 90. Okay, so it's because it's a quadrilateral, they should all add up to 360, yeah? So I'm going to say that X is going to equal, I'm going to say the 360 minus all the other ones, wouldn't it? So I'm going to say there's 90 plus 110 plus 120. So that would be 360 minus, what's that, 230, 320, yeah? So then x equals 40 degrees. Okay, and over here, does this look like an acute angle, meaning less than 90? It does, doesn't it? So we've got 40, which is less than 90. So it's a good way to check that we've done the right thing, yeah? You should look at things differently and try to work out, because that helps you pick up a mistake. Okay, so let's have a look at the other unknown angle. So down here, so we're going to do it exactly the same. We know this one's 90, so we're going to say x equals, they've all got to add up to 360. So if I minus all the other ones, 90 plus 50 plus 100, so that adds up to 240, I think. Is that correct? Yeah. And then we get 120. So does that angle over there, 120, look like it's bigger than 90, yes, but less than 180? Yeah, so we're pretty happy with that. It does. In there, that angle looks like it's bigger than 90. Awesome. Okay, it says find the values of the pronumerals in each of these special quadrilaterals. So if we look, so over here in question A, we are going to have to find what x equals, what z equals, and what y equals. Now, we know, because this is a parallelogram, isn't it? Because we've got parallel and parallel. So when it's a parallelogram, the opposite angles are equal. So I already know what z is. Z is 60. Okay, so that means we have left to find is x and y. Okay, so you know that you found out that this was 60. So if you think in total, it would have been 360. Now, at the moment, I've already know these two. So if I minus 60 plus 60, what would that give me? 240. So I've got 240 left to be divided into these two, don't I? So if I divide the 240 by 2, I get 120, yeah? So now I know that x is 120 and y is 120. Now have a look at the angle up there. Does this look bigger than 90? Yeah, so 120 looks good? Yeah, good. All right, so over here on question B, okay, sorry, just draw a few lines in that. We have to find, we've only got to find x here. Okay, so that's our question. Now this is the kite. Now remember we said if we had a kite, the ones in the middle of the kite, the top bit there, were equal. So I know that this is 100. So they've all got to add up to 360. So I'm going to say x equals 360 minus all the other ones, which is 100 plus 100 plus 30. So that would be 360 minus 230. So what does x equal? 130. Let's have a look up there. Does it look like bigger than 90? Yeah, looks pretty good. So we're happy. We think we've done that correctly. All right. Now, we have to find the angles up here. Now, okay, so if we have this one down here, we have parallel lines. Do you agree? Yeah? Now, remember if we have parallel lines, remember when we had this line cutting through? Do you remember that I said these two ones in here? So you've got your blue line, and then you've got these two angles in here. They are co-interior angles. And what did co-interior angles add up to? 180. Good. Co-interiors add to 180. So if I've got, so that means, therefore, 35 plus y needs to add to 180. So therefore, y must equal 180 minus the 35. So y equals 145. Yeah? Yep. Good. So can you see that's how I found it, because I knew this was 2 parallel lines. Then I've got this line going through there, and I'm saying these two are co-interior. So I know now that y is 145. So now I can find x by what? Yeah, good. So x is going to be, because it's a quadrilateral in there, originally we had a quadrilateral. So we're going to say 360 minus all the ones we know, 80 plus 35 plus 145. So there's 180, what's that, 260? Minus 260, which equals 100. And it looks like roughly 100 in there, doesn't it? Yeah? It looks a little bit bigger than a 90-degree angle. Okay, so this was question A we found there. I'm going to do this question over here, question B here. All right, so this is, this shape here, what shape would you call this one? This shape here. Yep, good, excellent, it's a kite. So the kite, remember we said these angles opposite were equal, yeah? So I know that this guy in here is 65. Okay, so therefore x must equal 360 minus all the others added up. 65 plus 140 plus 65. So 360 minus 270, is it? Equals 90. Right, it looks roughly like a right angle triangle, so I'm happy with that. So x equals 90 degrees.